Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the second episode of Zooming Through Education. This week, we're going to talk about navigating online education. But to start, we want to do a check-in.
So this week, we're recording our podcast a little earlier since we are Canadian and we do celebrate Thanksgiving this weekend. So we just wanted to talk about how it's been Mental Health Awareness Week this week. And with that, obviously a lot of people deal with mental health. There's different ways of dealing with mental health, and one thing that I guess we could talk about is what did you do for yourself to better your mental health this week? And we're actually really lucky because Trent, the School of Ed, offers a wellness program. It's run by Denise Handlarski, and she brings in other professors from the School of Ed as well. And honestly, it's a great program. I'm actually kind of taking a little bit from from this program and putting it into the daily check-in. So my thing that I do every single week for my mental health is I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every single day. What about you guys?
Well, sorry, my throat. I like to watch movies to help calm me down and de-stress, especially when I become really overwhelmed with all the assignments and tasks and responsibilities I have on my plate. So watching Netflix or even binging some YouTube videos really helps me reset and go back to my happy place, sort of.
What about you, Sarah?
So over the summer, I read a lot, and it was great. I rekindled my love of reading. And I noticed that the past couple weeks with school starting, I haven't been reading for fun. So this week I took some time and I have a physical book I'm currently reading, but I also bought a couple of audiobooks because I like to listen to them if I'm going for a walk or driving. So spent just taking some time to read for fun, not just for school. It was great.
I mean, another thing that you guys could do is listen to our podcast. That could help out. If it eases any of your tensions or any of your anxiety, we're here for that.
Okay. Well, like I said, we're going to be talking about navigating online education. There's a couple of areas we kind of want to discuss. So the first one's going to be technology, because it's not always the most reliable. Sometimes it's hard to navigate the platform, and Zoom calls can be stressful. So that's going to be the first topic.
For sure. I completely agree that Zoom calls can be stressful. I mean, the day we're recording this is Thursday, and Thursdays are typically my busiest day with the Zoom calls. I'm literally in class from I think it's from 11 till 12, and then from 5 to 7. And in between, there's stuff that happens in meetings, and it's chaotic. So I completely get that.
Yeah, I think for me, Fridays are my longest days. So I have class from 9 to 1 back to back. And for me, that's a little bit hard because it's really difficult waking up super early and then staying on Zoom for 4 hours straight, I think just takes a toll on you. But I've been getting used to it recently. So hopefully it stays like that. But yeah, that's my only issue, just having classes back to back online. It's different when you're there in person on campus. You can take breaks in between, or even the walk from one class to another really helps. But here you're just sitting in one place for a set period of time, and it is exhausting.
Yeah, I also have that issue on Fridays with just 4 hours of Zoom back to back. Are there any tips you guys have for making sure that you're heard in the Zoom call?
I notice that a lot of people try to speak at the same time, or there's that the teacher asks a question and then there's the awkward pause and then everybody tries to answer at the same time, or there's like a few people. And I think the best tip that I could give is, even if you don't get to say it out loud, even if you don't get to answer out loud, write it in the chat as well, because your professor or your teachers they'll see it still, right? Like they'll respond to that. They'll be like, oh, like great. I know that a few of our professors have done that already with us too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I kind of like asking what the rules are for that instructor's class, because I know some of them want your cameras on and you to like raise your hand, some want the chat, some want you to just speak. So I think having like established rules for it, for that like specific classes, it really does help figure out like what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to answer.
Yeah, being proactive about that's really helpful. And I think that being proactive really helps with navigating online learning a lot, just because if you have questions while your professor's talking, for example, yes, you can ask in the chat, but sometimes they won't see it until much later, especially if they're sharing their screen or, displaying a PowerPoint. So I think unmuting yourself is the best way to go about it. But yes, you do have that risk of other colleagues and students stepping in at the same time, but that's okay. That comes with Zoom.
Yeah, or the best way to do it is after your colleague has said something, just like either like stay on camera and just like keep your hand up. Sometimes your professor will remember that like you both spoke at the same time and will ask you like if you wanted to add something. But if not, like I said, just wait until your colleague's done speaking, and just try to cut in nicely. Don't be like too aggressive or assertive, because sometimes if your professor wants to like continue on, they won't want to stick on a question for too long. Then you don't want to be seen as the student that is is trying to just insert themselves way too much into the classroom. Not in a negative way, obviously.
No, not in a negative
way. Should be positive. Don't get me wrong.
Also with Zoom, a lot of technical difficulties come up, and that you just kind of have to roll with, like understanding. Like my one class, there was a presentation, the one presenter had technical difficulties, the group just swooped in, continued until she could get back on. And I think that's the way you really have to, you just go with the flow. If things go wrong, you can figure it out, reconnect.
Use another device.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that they continued on with it. Like that's what matters, because if you have group members that are like everybody's done their work individually and you don't even know what the other person's talking about, like that could make or break your presentation, right?
Yeah. So like online platforms, so Trent uses Blackboard. Do you guys have any other classes that are using other platforms with Blackboard? Because I do. I have professors using Google Drive, and then sometimes I completely forget that there's stuff on Google Drive to look at.
Yeah, I am in that same class as well, and I think we will start using Google Classroom as well. So that one's a little bit easier to navigate just because we've had that presentation. But yes, I do forget to check Google Drive just because we don't receive notifications as to whether or not someone uploads or posts something. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the case for you, Sarah.
No, I don't for Google Drive. And I rarely get notifications like that for Blackboard unless I check, like log on and check.
See,
I don't know if there's a way.
I've never received notifications for Blackboard or for Google Drive. I think the only notification you receive for Google Drive is once the actual file or whatever your professor is sharing they're giving you permission to share it with you. But besides that, I'm pretty sure that it doesn't update anything. Like you don't get notifications.
Yeah.
which sucks because obviously you'd wanna know what's going on. I mean, hey, like Caitlin can tell you, like, and Sarah as well today, and Soko completely forgot that I had a discussion post, and it's because I, like, if you don't go on to like the actual website, like, I don't know, maybe you guys need to show me how to do the notifications because I'm not getting anything.
Well,
No,
sometimes professors update. They send emails saying I updated this or I uploaded new content for you to check out. I don't know.
I really appreciate it when they do that, because with Blackboard, all I get, it's like anytime. It's not even just a discussion thread's made, it's when like a PowerPoint's uploaded. So if one professor from one class is like going a little hard uploading like a couple weeks worth of content, you can kind of lose that there was a discussion post created.
That's true.
Well, see, I'm getting educated right now. I was not aware that Blackboard has notifications. So
Yes.
this is something new to me, at least.
Yeah, now you know. Well, even if you have the app, it really notifies you. I think mine pops up so frequently because of the amount of content that all my professors are posting
There is an app?
or updating. Yeah, there's
Yes.
an app.
What?
The app actually does send you like push notifications.
Yes.
Like, that stuff's
Okay, I'm
updated,
downloading this
rated.
right now in the
Download
middle of
the
our
app.
podcast. I'm getting it right now.
Just for the notifications.
Just honestly, I'm not even kidding you. Today in class, I had like a mini heart attack because when I realized that we had a discussion post that I did not contribute to until after the class. Denise, don't be upset. I swear, I'm participating in your classroom. But I was completely like, I was in shock. I didn't know what I was doing. I was very lost.
It's fine.
I'm downloading it right now.
That's another thing with online platforms. It's kind of important to try to familiarize yourself with them, because different instructors, like, they have, some of them are doing it in modules. You have to click on the module. Some are just uploading for the day. Some it's under something else. It's just, you kind of have to just sit and go through everything and figure out how that instructor is putting up the information for you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that there was a discussion post until I think it was yesterday. I just looked and went, oh, gotta do that.
I'm glad I was not the only one that was kind of lost.
No, it's okay. I think only a few people did it. I was the second person too.
There was 24 posts when I looked at it during
The
class.
push notifications. That
It's being
helps
downloaded
me.
right now. I'm not even kidding you. I will show you. Oh, open. There we go. See, Blackboard would like to send you notifications. Allow.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to cover navigating online education is scheduling class time. I know it's kind of difficult right now because if you're just at home, when is class time? Do you schedule it yourself? Do you make time for it? Is it like a never-ending thing? Because if you don't really schedule it, it kind of seems like you always have to be doing something, which is very stressful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Having that divide between just between school and your home life is so necessary. And honestly, like, that'll probably come up when we speak about organization, just because like it's such, like, organization is such a big key with that. Like, honestly, I'm probably the worst at it, or I'm trying to figure it out at least right now. Like, the girls can tell you right before we started filming, I was in the middle of cooking. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm late. Like, but it's hard. It's honestly hard, especially like if you're like, obviously we're in a program right now which could be considered like a graduate program. Like, we've done our undergrads, we're in our second year, so we might find it a little easier for us because we've been through all of those steps. But honestly, I can't imagine what high schoolers are going through right now, and like trying to like make that time in order to not like procrastinate. and finish their work at the same time, right? Because I know that York region came out saying that they have such a small amount of teachers that they're going to be live streaming classes now. I don't know if you guys saw that today on the news.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Yep. So I saw that and I was very shocked. But I honestly, I don't know how they're going to be able to reach all their students. I'm hoping that like their students will at least try to figure out like how they can get help from their teachers, and reaching out is key. Always reach out to your professors. Number one.
Yeah.
Or
No,
your
that
teachers.
is really the best advice. You have to be your own advocate, because for online learning, it's just you. You're really responsible for staying on task. And if you need help, you need to seek it out. You need to take initiative and do it. So yeah, that's really good advice. Definitely.
I know for me, I've been having more struggles with asynchronous classes, just because at least if it's partially synchronized, you're able to go to that class, and then maybe right after or right before you kind of do the work for it. Like it has its own set time in your schedule. For asynchronous, I'm trying to do it in like the morning I'm trying not to go later than 3 p.m., but then it just depends on how much work there is or if I get distracted. So I think trying to schedule, like maybe you only work on one class a day if you can, or you have like set things in your planner that are, these need to be accomplished today. Like these are my goals today. That's very helpful when you don't have, you're not going like 8 to 2:30 somewhere. You have to be there and focusing. Like I think planners are a savior right now.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Get yourself
Yeah.
a planner. If you don't already have one, believe me, we get it. In elementary school, in high school, you got agendas. You didn't use them. I already know you didn't, because I didn't. And I'm like so organized now. So I can tell you 100%, we know you're not using them, but please.
Yeah, your parents just signed the one page a day. You didn't even put in what work you had to do that week.
Or the best was if you ever got in trouble, your teacher would write like what you got in trouble for, and you would be so afraid to show your parents because you needed that signature. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, agendas or planners don't even have to be that expensive. There's lots of affordable options. I think mine was $10. And
Yeah.
it's actually for students, so it's set up lovely. It has like an assignment column each day, a general study, and a social life column. That's empty most of the time these days.
That's
Right?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, no social
I'd
life.
look
But I
into
have a
that.
column.
We'll encourage you.
I mean, this is your social life. We are your social life.
Actually, that's what I put in it when we have
Oh,
that goes in that column.
I feel so loved.
that's cute. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's adorable.
I like that you pen time out for us, just
I do. I do. So kind of going with scheduling class time is like creating a motivating work environment. So I don't know if you guys have like a set space that you're working in and that is your workspace, or if you just have to go with the flow in your house. I know some people don't have that and they have to go in their bedroom or the dining room. So what's that looking like for you guys?
Well, for me, I have my own desk here in my room, but it's not as big as I'd like it to be. So I like to move all my work down to the dining room. But the only unfortunate thing with that is that my dog takes over that whole floor. So my dog likes to interrupt me. And also I do have a younger sister who likes to watch My Little Pony and whatever other show that's trending. And she likes to blast it on full volume. So that's also really distracting. But I also like being there just because, it doesn't make me feel like I'm alone here in my room doing a whole bunch of work. So it does sort of help, but it can be distracting at the same time. So it really depends on, I guess, how difficult the task is. So if it's just a simple discussion post, just a comment or reply to a colleague's post, yeah, I'd do it downstairs, but yeah, that's just me.
I feel that I completely understand the needing to go somewhere else in the house, especially, I mean, your dog can, come into our podcast anytime. Feel free. I love your dog. What's your dog's name again? I always forget. Tucker, right?
Tucker, yes.
Love it.
You remembered. Maybe
Listen,
he should be featured.
I have a hard time remembering. Oh, and okay, so I just wanted to, again. So I just want to let you guys know my internet is like very unstable, and you guys have already cut out 3 times for me. So if this is another issue with navigating online internet. And what's funny is, so I am the host, so it shows that I'm recording the call. So if there is that pause or that disconnect, like that's what you guys are going to see on the YouTube channel. Or you're just going to hear me saying, oh, sometimes on Spotify, being like, yeah, this is very unstable. But on the topic of workspace, I'm currently in my dad's makeshift office. We had my grandmother move in with us very recently. So we're just trying to figure out where everything is going. So this room is a giant mess. So I'm picture like a bunch of furniture and just me in the corner with like a monitor up there, my little calendar over here, and just like sitting on a dining room chair, which is the most uncomfortable thing to do, especially when you have a very long day. So buy a comfy chair. That's my advice.
Number 2, that's our second tip. So get an agenda and then get a comfy chair.
And get stable internet. Unlike me.
Oh. Starter pack
For how to navigate online education.
Online learning.
What about you, Sarah?
I love that.
What's your
well, I'm in my bedroom. It's very purple. That was a choice I made. Yeah, I have a small desk, and I haven't really used it until now. It was kind of just where I charged things, and now it's where I need to sit to focus. It is like right up against the wall, so I don't really look at anything. I have like a little whiteboard with Zoom meeting times, so I remember. I try to not work on my bed, because I remember in my first year psych class, they said don't work where you sleep because your brain won't like that. And I have almost fallen asleep while reading, so I think there's some merit to that. I've been trying to every so often, like both of you said, I've been switching it up, and I'll like go downstairs. The one day I did readings outside when it was nice. I'm not gonna be able to do that for too much longer. Winter is coming. But
yes, can feel it.
Yeah, I kind of what I can see is like school related stuff, so it kind of gets me in the mindset.
I guess that's the only positive with having school online, that you don't have to get on a very cold bus in the winter and trek it to school in the snow.
Or drive through the snow.
Oh. The white stuff is coming. The snow is coming.
No.
Isn't that crazy? It feels like this year has just passed by so quickly. I mean, the beginning of the school year.
It definitely does.
Yeah. Pre-quarantine was a bit slow.
Yes.
But then after those first 2 months in quarantine, it just sped up like crazy.
Yeah, summer didn't feel like a couple months. It felt like 1 month.
Right?
I don't know why, but it was like June, September.
I'm not gonna lie, there was a moment like during quarantine where, I'm not even kidding you, I did not know what day it was, and it was like that for like I swear like half a month, and I had no idea. I didn't even know if it was like a Wednesday or like a Sunday or like just no idea. I was like, this is my life now.
I didn't know when July started. It was 2 days into July before I found out we were in July.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, we're in October now, as crazy as that seems. Soon we'll have, we'll find out about prac hopefully for November, and then December is gonna roll around, and soon we'll be graduating.
Yeah, that's
Oh
crazy.
my goodness.
Um, so one of like the last kind of points I wanted to touch on was forming communities. So that could be like a group chat, or maybe you have like a weekly video chat with a couple other like classmates. Have you found that that's been helpful for the learning experience this year?
1000%.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's where our idea came from, from those
yeah.
weekly meetings. But yeah, I think meeting even virtually is really helpful, especially if you're meeting with people in your program, so you can, vent and talk about things that you're feeling. You're talking to people who will understand what you're going through. Because yes, you do have your family and other friends too as your support system, but I think it's really good to form friendships with people in your program as well. So
Yeah.
I
Well, we're
completely
all,
agree.
even if we're not all in necessarily the same classes, we have most of the same classes, even if we're not in the same sections. So it's been really helpful that you can be like, hey, can you clarify this for me from this lesson? Or I'm thinking about doing this for my project. Do you think that makes sense for the assignment? It's been really helpful because that's stuff that we would normally do in class when we were actually there. And that's kind of been cut out. So you kind of have to search for those groups and form them to get that back.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky enough, like I know that some students have just started their first year at university or their first year at high school, and like that, honestly, your first year is obviously the year that you make friends. Like I know our first year at like for teachers college was obviously a pivotal year for us because we all met each other, and it was like it's great because we have friends from the previous year that we like, we stuck around with, and we text often, so we all know each other. And the great thing about our program is that it's so small that even if you do have classes that like you don't have classes with your friends, you definitely have a class with somebody that you know from last year. So like I don't my best advice for those who are maybe I guess starting university for the first time, or they're going into their first year, is don't be afraid of connecting with those people online. I know it might seem a little harder because obviously you can't really gauge what kind of a person you're talking to online rather than in person, but you never know, people might surprise you. They're probably struggling to find like communication as well. And honestly, it is so much easier having somebody, at least one person that you know in each of your classes, because if you can't attend something, I don't know how it is with other places. Like for us, we have most of our synchronous lessons are also recorded and we get to watch them back. But some schools I know that they don't have recordings, or you might not have that connection with your professor yet. Also, feel free, like I said, contact your teacher or your professor. They are there for you. They are there to help. If they do not email you back right away, it's probably because they also have like 50 other emails from 50 other students that probably are dealing with the same struggles that you are. So at some point they will email you back, but yeah, like try and find someone to at least like share notes with, get like, you know, I guess the term is like to like relay information with from like from the
mhm.
lesson. Because like I know I message Caitlin after every single lesson that we have, and I was like, I always ask her, I'm like, I'm lost. Like just tell me again what we're doing because I'm completely lost.
Yeah, that's what friends are for. We're here to support each other. I have a funny story about this, about making friends online. It's not my experience, my younger sister's experience. She's in grade 12 right now. So this is her last year of high school, which she's disappointed about just because everything's online now, so she can't be with her friends, and her classes are board wide. So she's in classes with people from other high schools. So yeah, she doesn't really know a lot of them. And one day she told me that some girl from another high school actually messaged her privately on the Zoom chat. Yeah, and they started talking from there. So I guess that's one way to go about making friends. I'm not sure if your teacher or professor can see what you're discussing, but
They can.
They can.
Yes. So if you
Okay.
actually send well, I found this out, I think it was in my STEAM course this semester. Somebody had sent a private message from one student to another, and our professor was just like, "Know that I can see your private messages like in the classroom, just so you guys know." So don't do anything don't say anything that you wouldn't say in front of your professor or your teacher, because
no.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
cut
of
out for
course.
a second.
Don't say
See?
anything that you would not say in person or directly to someone else, right? Yeah, that's true. Before you cut off, I think that's what you're trying to go for.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, the most unstable internet. The most
It's
unstable
okay.
person has the most unstable internet. That's how I
This
guess that's
is
how it works.
this is a real life example of what one of the issues that we're discussing.
Really. I honestly think that we should just continue to record on Sundays, because that's when the internet is the most stable.
Oh, well,
Oh,
that's
no.
good. I know I have a reading group for one of my classes, and we've been like each focusing on one article and actually giving each other summaries over Google Meet. And it's been very helpful because then our reading load is a bit less, but we're still getting the information. And it's nice to catch up and see people once a week. It's like it's our excuse to meet is our class readings, but it's been nice.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do that as well, but we don't meet on Google Meet. We just upload them on Google Drive, which is, again, the notifications or the lack thereof really doesn't help.
Oh,
Perks.
my internet cut out again.
Yeah, and I think my last thing for talking about like forming communities is learning is very social. So if you're reaching out and talking about the content, you're probably going to retain it a bit better or understand it a bit better. Maybe someone can rephrase it in a way that the instructor couldn't. So it's always very handy.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the topics. Do we want to move into the Q&A because we got a question?
Sure thing. So we have, as stated in the previous podcast, we have a YouTube. Feel free to follow us there. We're the same, it's the exact same handle. It's Zooming Through Education. Or if you guys don't know, we have Spotify as well. I recently figured out how to create us a Spotify account for podcasters. But yeah, we got a question. I'm going to find it right now because I'm a major techie. Struggle's real. Should never
It's our
be allowed
first
to use
question though, which is really exciting.
So Bailey Allison, sorry if I mispronounce anything, I apologize. So great first episode. You all seem to connect well with each other. I'm not sure what you have planned, but I'd love to hear about all of your different experiences with your teachable subjects, French, English, geography, etc., and how you plan to teach them or how those subjects affected your learning process to become teachers.
It's a very loaded question.
So
but I really like it.
So pretty much it's like, what experience did you have with your teachable subject, and how did that experience, or like how do you plan to teach it, or like how did that experience affect like your learning process to become a teacher? Maybe I guess that's what we're kind of being asked.
Well, since we're all IS teacher candidates, we have 2 teachables, and we do first year we did have to take a class like dedicated. It was like 4 hours a week on how to teach that subject. So we did go over a lot of different, I don't know for every subject, but I know we went over the curriculum, and then our instructor would bring in like photocopies of student work without the name on it, and we would go through it. It was very helpful. Yeah.
So Sarah and I both had history together of the subject. And Caitlin and I both have English together. So like I'm kind of like the connecting force. But so for English, like Sarah had said, we did go over curriculum coverage. So kind of what to expect while you're teaching that subject. We also do like a huge unit plan. So a unit plan is I'm lacking the words. Does somebody want to help me out here? I know what a unit plan is, but it's hard to explain.
It's a set of lessons that focus on a certain theme or subject. So for example, with English, Shakespeare would be a common topic for a unit plan. Yeah. So teachers have to work through developing those before they actually deliver and implement it in the classroom.
And so the way that unit plans also work is that they're taken, it's not just like us making it up as we go along. They're taken from, believe me, for like half a second, when I joined Teachers College, I was like, yeah, we're just making it up as we go along. No, it's all from curriculum documents. The Ontario Ministry of Education, they put out documents. I know that the only reason I know this is that the English document came out in 2007 and it hasn't been updated, and that's because I quoted it in an assignment recently. But it pretty much lists out per like what grade and what course code you are. So obviously for high school we have course codes. For elementary schools we do not have course codes. It's just your teaching subject.
It's by subject, so it's like social studies, science. They break it up like that and group it.
Yeah. And so you have your overall expectations, which are there sometimes 3 or 4 strands of overall expectations. And then there are continuous specific expectations that you have to take and group with the overalls into your lesson plan. If you guys want, one day we can share a lesson plan with you. You can see how it's made. It's great.
Also for a unit plan, you're usually, because you do it through backwards design, so you think about the end goal first. So like if you're teaching how to write an argumentative essay, you kind of have to make sure that all of if that's your end goal, like that's the product the students are going to be creating and handing in, you can't just go, okay, write an essay, because they might not know how. So one of the important parts of unit plans is making sure that in your lessons you're kind of building those skills and you're building them up until they're able to do that kind of end goal and complete it successfully. And yeah, you kind of have to keep that in mind when you're also thinking of what work you're doing or activities you're doing. But yeah.
So
how it like
how did it affect you? Yeah, like how did it affect your, I guess, I'm going to read the question again because I feel like we kind of got off topic.
I think we did get off topic, but it's okay.
So we explained how you plan to teach them. So it's all curriculum based. It's obviously there's a portion of us, we put our creative,
add our own flair to it.
Yes. Yeah. The flair. For some reason, when you said flair, I thought of Bobby Flay. I don't know why.
I was thinking of these pens, to be honest.
Off topic.
Flare pens.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Caitlin's just sitting there. She's like, I'm the most professional one of all of you.
It's okay.
So how have these subjects affected our learning process to become teachers?
I can go. So my undergrad was in history, and one important part, I think, of teaching history is that it's not whitewashed and from the perspective of the winner each time, because that's not really realistic. and it's taking a huge chunk of everything out of it. So I was really passionate about hearing the voices of the people who are trying to be silenced through a lot of ways that history is traditionally taught. And I was kind of really passionate about that I want to make sure that I have like multiple perspectives, and I'm going to be inclusive and have lots of diversity in my classroom to make sure that I'm able to like tell, well, we can like hear those stories of the people who maybe were marginalized or victimized at the time, and not just focused on who was in power, because I don't think that really matters at the end of the day. Kind of bringing empathy back into history. That was one of the more important reasons why I wanted to be a history teacher. Heavy.
No, it's
Oh,
good.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree on that aspect. I feel like a lot of students, well, like I think that we as students, as like elementary school students and high school students, like I might be speaking just about myself, but I know that I don't think we really got the chance to really learn in depth the way that students are learning now about history. And
Mhm.
honestly, it's great. Like I think that what's going on right now in schools is, well, in the schools that I've been in so far, is very interesting, because it's, I guess, there are a few new classes that are being offered for like English. I don't know for history, but I know for English there's a First Nations or Contemporary First Nations, Inuit, and Métis voices. I think that's what the course is called. It's NBE 3UB course.
It's a grade 11 course.
Yes, but
It's
pardon
also,
me?
we're talking about Ontario. We're
Yes.
talking about, just
Yes.
to make it clear, it's not all of Canada, it's Ontario.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each province has its own curriculum, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I actually had the chance to kind of help out with that course at one of my practicums, and it's a beautiful course. Like we cover like just amazing pieces of literature that honestly, like I know would have never been covered when I was in high school. And I'm so happy that like students get the chance to really like look into that, because like honestly it's amazing. Like you guys are really lucky, and I honestly wish I had the chance to learn about that stuff in high school, because it may have led me down a different path. I may have seen a little different things in my life. But I mean, it's good to learn about it now too. Like always educate yourself on topics that maybe you were never taught in school, or you're figuring out now with just like with life, anything that's going on right now.
Yeah. Trying to think of that question again.
Do you want me to reread it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Read it.
So it is how those subjects affected your learning process to become teachers.
Oh, I see. Well, I was nervous about French going into the program just because a lot of my French teachers, or should I say French professors, weren't the best role models in terms of teaching French. So, I would take all of that with me, all those anxieties with me into class. But I think learning about how you can structure your classes to make them more fun and engaging and really invite real life natural conversations, I think that's really important when you're teaching any language. So that goes for English too. Making it fun and relatable for your students is really important, and that's something that I really grasped during my French course last year. So I really wish that I could take it again, just because I feel like I need more preparation before I actually teach French, because I haven't yet. And I really hope that this practicum placement that's coming up gives me the opportunity to do so. But yeah, that is something that I will take with me. Just making it engaging and making it real for students.
That's amazing. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people know, but educators, like once you finish teachers college, you have to educate yourself, right? Like, I guess many students don't know this, but like educators are like, you're pretty much teaching yourself. You're attending those seminars, those webinars, those workshops. Like, that's all on you as a teacher. And you, like, if you don't put in the effort, then obviously you're not going to get the outcome that you might want, right? Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that, like, I know, I completely agree, Caitlin. Like, I feel like there are certain things that I still feel like I need to learn. And it's crazy that like teachers college is only 2 years, right? Like, I feel like this should be like a 5-year course, like from like beginning to end, because it's interesting. You learn so much, and a lot of people don't really know how much teachers do. Like, this is a 24/7 job. You are constantly working, which again brings back to Sarah's comment of finding a divide between work and life. But it's hard, right? Like, I know like for my experience or effects, I agree with the both of you. I've dealt with that kind of stuff. I want, I guess, for history and for English, I always felt like my teachers could have, I guess, I don't want to say done, like they could have done more because they did a lot. But I feel like with history, I feel like it could have been a little more engaging. Like and I'm talking about like elementary school and high school, like obviously high school is history, right? But I just feel like it could have been more engaging rather than just sitting, writing notes, watching like old war movies, and just listening to somebody lecture. Like, I really like, pardon me?
Heritage Minutes. Did you watch Heritage Minutes?
Listen, Heritage Minutes were the highlight of my life, okay? When I think back to high school, it was only Heritage Minutes. But yeah, I think that's why I really wanted to do like English and history. I think that's, well, I also just like English and history, like, you know, but I just wanted to make it more engaging, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. Fingers crossed I will. Maybe there will just be one student that will be engaged, and that will be enough for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, all we can do is try our best and learn from our mistakes.
That's for sure. Well, ladies, we are over our time. We're actually at 47 minutes.
Oh.
We had a nice conversation today. Caitlin, I don't know if she's frozen or if she's sad.
I think she's frozen.
There we go. This is the unstable internet that I am always talking about. But Sarah, any closing words since Caitlin can't talk?
Well, if you stayed with us this long, thank you. If you thought of any tips or tricks that you have for navigating the topics we discussed, you can definitely comment them down below. Or if you have any questions, thank you for watching.
Yep, and we'll see you later. We know that Caitlin wants to say bye too, so we'll say bye for her.
She says bye.
Caitlin says bye. Alrighty, bye guys. Oh, say bye, Caitlin. Wait. There we go. Caitlin's back. We just wrapped up, but we just wanted to give you the chance to say bye since you were frozen. So
yeah, my connection was unstable.
It's going
so
now.
Sorry.
Go with the flow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, bye. Thank you for listening to this podcast. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to the next episode, which will be about.
Ooh, good question.
I believe it's about relationships, maintaining relationships.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
Alrighty. See you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.